Hello, I'm Timmy, super cheapskate user of Nikons at the moment. I've used a few other things, had a few Canons last year, talk about that sometime. A little script here. What I'm hoping to do is talk about the older Elinchrom flashes which people get a bit confused about. I got confused about it when I was looking for them. Some of them have some features, some of them do control, some of them just do trigger. So that's what I'm hoping to get into. So I will talk about the pros and cons of Elinchrom. I can see my brother laughing at me because I'm struggling here. So I'd say the cons, let's go with those first. The Elinchrom mount, not as easy as the Bowens and the Pro Photo mount. You have to put these things in, twist, and then twist these collars to lock them. That's kind of okay. That worked pretty well. They've also got this new mount that I'm not so keen on, so I'll talk about that in a minute. The advantages, I would say, and Chris, you can back me up on that. What do you think about them? You can just talk.
Advantages of the modifiers or the...
Well, the modifiers. I think we both think that they've got better lighting, don't we? So,
yes.
You coming around across the camera?
Yeah, almost. I was going to say.
Okay.
That, I think the distribution of light's very good.
Yeah. We think they actually look better.
So they could give good wraparound light.
Yeah.
I like the way they collapse down, sort of umbrella style. You can just stick them in a carry case and off you go.
A lot of things do have umbrella mechanisms, but the Elinchrom ones are good, aren't they? And they end up kind of lightweight and no obstructions in front of the bulb, so you can put. Can you pass me that diffuser? Yeah. You can actually put diffusers inside Elinchrom studio strobes. Here we go. I can actually show you that. So So if you want to reduce the thing of your flash even more, then you can put one of these things in the hole and put it over, and you'll kind of reduce your lighting another stop, and you'll diffuse it even more. And you can use these things inside a big reflector, which I don't have handy, but you can a big kind of bell-shaped reflector. You can do that kind of thing. So that's a good advantage of the Elinchroms. So this is this one here is one of the first type of Elinchroms that we got, which is a Style 300S, and there's also Style 600Ss, and these babies are nice, but they have a nice loud fan noise. There we go. Let's put that near the microphone. Now that is constant with these older ones. But they're not bad, and if I show you the control panel, instead of having digital sort of tense stop things like the modern Elinchroms, this just has an old style analog slider. So if I fire the flash like that, you can see, and then you whack it up there. Oh, I felt the heat from the tube as it fired there. So they're good. They will enable you to do third stops on this scale. They're not as accurate as the digital tense, obviously, but they're good enough to match the third stop control in most cameras. So that's good. And you've got kind of beeps, and you've got modelling lights, and you've got what the cell is the receiver there. So good style flash. And these old ones, they used to have an Elinchrom proprietary system to allow them to trigger, but they were kind of expensive bits that only triggered, and you connected them to this thing here. The other one is a remote control, which is very good, a cable remote. But this thing is for the old style Elinchrom radio triggers, which I've never bothered with. So what do I have? I have a cheapo Yongnu plugged into this with a cord and a 3.5-inch jack, and that matches another Yongnu that you put on your camera hot shoe, and pow, you are firing your flash with cheapo Chinese bits, and you're controlling the power on the flash itself. So that's all jolly good. We like that. So I will just turn that one off, and then I'll talk about the more modern ones. Let me just put that down. Okay, this is a more modern flash. Now this is a BRX 500, and this does have a built-in receiver. Here we go. Now I was talking about confusion earlier. Now you see the fan doesn't automatically come on when you do this. It's temperature regulated, and it comes on when it feels it needs it. So here you have the tenths control on the back, and everything's digital, and you have the built-in receiver. So the confusion is there's kind of two generations of these. So there's the BRX, which is here, and there's the BRXi. Now you would think, oh, BRXi, that sounds modern, longer name, more sexy letters and numbers in the thing, but it's actually the case that the I is the older one. So if you see them offered, the I will trigger, it has a built-in trigger, but it will not do power control. So what controller do you use to do these things? Because you don't use Godox or Yongnus. You use this, which is a Skyport. This one is a Skyport Plus. There's some crappy little Skyports, but this one is good. And what do I like about it? I'm asking myself rhetorical questions here. It is nice and simple and intuitive. So you have little numbers on here to control all the groups and the channels. So at the top where it says, you can't see it because it's so small, but it says all, and then you can change that to A, B, C. I think it's just A, B, C, D. So you can do 4 groups with this. So you can select any group on here and then turn the power up and down. And then when you're ready to fire your whole setup, you just put it back to all, and it fires everything that's enabled. So, and then you've got a bunch of channels here at the bottom. I think you've got about 20 channels on this. So this is actually very intuitive and easy to use, and I much prefer it to the old, to the Godox things where you've got the LCD screen and kind of all these levels of deep menus and lots of features. But if you're just controlling studio flashes indoors, having like simple and robust with nothing complex to work out is great. So here we go. I shall fire this. There you go. And this is on 4 at the moment. So if I go up, I can't actually see this, but I'll go. I think I've got it set in fifths of stops at the moment, but you can set it in anything you want: third stops, half stops, whole stops, you name it. So if I go like this a few times, so that's beeped, which means it's achieved the setting that you've asked for. And I had it in tenths. Okay, so I've gone up there. So I've now gone up quite a lot from 4 to 5.3. So I've come up, that's about nearly a stop and a half, I think. So fire that, you get a bigger bang out of the flash. So that's it. So you can do all that stuff on the back, but you can do the controls from this. And this is also a 1 contact thing, so you can use this pretty much on any camera brand. except I think those Canons that have the weird hot shoes where they took the middle pin out, which was a very tricky and nasty thing to do to people. And people who go off and they buy these cameras, I'm not sure which one it is, the 200 or 2000 or something like that, but they suddenly realise that they can't go out and take it, and they buy a new camera, they get all excited, they want to go off to a studio shoot or something, and then they realise that the hot shoe in the camera doesn't have a middle point, so they can't use all the standard triggers to fire flashes. So that is a disadvantage of the Canons with those weird hot shoes, but they didn't make many of those. I think they proved extremely unpopular and controversial. Anyway, I've got completely off track there, haven't I? So this is the BRX 500. It's the more modern one than the XI. So it has the controls from the trigger as well as the as well as just triggering the flash. So, and in the older model you don't get that, and that is also the case with the D-lights. There's an older and a newer D-light range, and the newer D-lights are called RX. They trigger and you can control the power of the flash remotely, whereas the older D-light range, I can't remember what they're called, maybe T's or something, I'll have to check it out. They trigger, but they trigger only, a bit like that Yongnuo thing. You can't do any remote power control from them. So what else have we got here? This is a converter for Lastolite flashes, because I had some of those to start with, and this flange plugs into the Elinchrom mount, and then this plastic thing goes in the back of the Elinchrom, in the back of the Lastolite flashes, and softboxes, and then you hang that on this flange here, you see, like that. So that's an example of converting the Elinchrom mount to do a different brand of flash. But they're quite expensive to get those things, and I've got those, but we've got quite a lot of proper Elinchrom flashes now, don't we?
Elinchrom modifiers.
Yeah. I think you bought a couple of brand new ones. I remember we bought a few Elinchrom, well, a couple of Elinchrom brand flashes, but you got a brand new one from the flash center, the 100 deep.
Modifier,
yeah.
Deep octa.
Yeah, and 100. Then we've got the 100 flat, haven't we? The 100 shallow octa.
Yeah.
And then you recently bought a
strip box.
The 100 by 35, is it?
100 by 30, I think.
Yeah. Like so we like the Elinchrom modifiers, as I mentioned before.
Also got a 135.
Oh yes, the 135. Actually, we've also got a 175, but we're going to sell that because it's just so bloody massive. It's it's a bit overwhelming in our small home studio here, which is just our front room. So so that is going to go actually. Right now, let's see. I think I had one last thing to show people. Yeah, so this is the Elinchrom traditional mount with this locking ring here, which you can lock and unlock, and then take the things out of them like that. So that's good. I don't hate this mount at all. It works quite well. But let me see. Turn that baby off. What I do hate is the new mount with the slidey button. So I was watching a review of Elinchrom flashes this morning, and it was F Stoppers, I think it was, and he was having a go at the new Elinchrom 5, I think it is, which is like a 1700 quid flash, and and it's battery operated. So I'm not a fan of battery operated flashes for studio, because the batteries run out, and people want to preserve the batteries so they don't turn the modelling lights up and then you get through a shoot and suddenly you realise one of the flashes isn't firing properly, and that's because it needs a battery change and that sort of thing. And people say, I'm on purple port, and people kind of argue against this and say, battery flashes are God's gift and all the rest of it. And I say, yeah, but I've maybe gone to a shoot and the battery's run out, and they go, the battery never runs out. But like if you go to a group shoot, which is like 6 photographers shooting quite intensively, then they can run out. Anyway, this is the smallest of the D-lights. It has a small sort of 2-prong electric socket instead of the standard 3 pins that all the other flashes have. This is very low power flash. I think it's about 100 watts, watt seconds, I guess. But because it's an RX one, it does work with this controller. So I've got it on 4 there, and there you can fire that. And it took a moment to recycle, didn't it? Even though it's not on full power here, it's like a low powered flash, and it took a while to charge up there. So I can reduce that. So there we go. I'm coming back right down. I think the lowest setting is 0.1 on there. That is a very low power flash. And you see, it hasn't dumped it. It hasn't dumped the charge. So it's taking a time to get there. When it does, it will beep. But I will speed it up. There we go. Now it's at its 0.1. So there we go. And if I come right up again. Okay, that's at 3.1 now. So there we go. I'll fire that. And it takes an appreciable time to cycle, that one, because it's low power. So what does it have? It has this is the new Elinchrom mount, which you get this slidey lever here, right? And you have a position with unlocked and you have a position of locked. So it's kind of a bit small. So anyway, I think this is unlock. So then, there we go. I can get this thing off. And then I put it back in and I line up these grooves here with the things there, and I twist it on. There we are, I twisted on. And that worked well because this is a small, easy to do thing. But I have had a bit of fiddliness trying to connect these boxes to it. So there you go. So that's the thing. I think Chris is telling me that the recording time on the D610, there's the D610 over there, is running out. So let's see, have I missed anything? No, I think that's good. So this has been really for people like me who are cheapskates and want to get an old studio setup of really affordable stuff. These have been some Elinchrom bits, and Bowens are good as well. So there you go. Shall I say goodbye now? I think I will. And goodbye from Chris too. And what's this pin, you ask? It is the Free Speech Union pin. So if you want to be able to tell the jokes you want to be able to tell and have free speech and exchange thoughts freely with people without being censored, join the Free Speech Union. Okay.